Louie Barry has been recalled by Aston Villa. We all thought this was going to happen. Stewie Watson, it's happened. Your thoughts?
So it was nailed on a recall as there wasn't there? It's just not happened for him, and clearly Ipswich didn't think that they were going to get, or hadn't gambled that they were going to get Bersant Celina at the time that they signed Louie Barry, and that kind of those increased forward options have limited his. I think he started one game. He hasn't even been one league game. I think he started very early in the season. Hasn't even been making benches of late. Sometimes these loans come off spectacularly, and sometimes they don't. And that's not to say it's been a wasted 6 months for Louie Barry, because it's easy to forget he is just 18, 19 years of age, and that first loan, as we hear so often from managers, is as much about the off-field experience of just living away from home and experiencing a different environment to that sort of pampered Premier League bubble that some of these youngsters have been involved in. Everyone speaks very highly of his character and the way that he's kind of gone about things despite the disappointment of not playing. So it makes sense for all parties for him to go and go somewhere else where he might get a little bit more game time, and that obviously frees up a loan spot for Ipswich to play with, because you can have as many as you want actually in your squad, but you can only name 5 on a match day, and Ipswich had that 5. So no great surprise there, and be interested to see how his career pans out from here.
Hutchie, Louie Barry, just a victim of circumstance. Obviously, when he signed, they probably weren't thinking that Bersant Celina was going to arrive. Is that what ultimately did for him, as they say?
Yeah, I would very much put it down to circumstance rather than anything else, rather than a reflection on him. Anyway, we've said it before, but you can't sign 19 players in a summer, add them to a group of 5 or 6 existing players, and have them all come off, because it just can't work like that. You can't give everyone the game. They'd all will have come hoping to play significant games. There just aren't enough games to go round, and that's even if you're kind of using some kind of odd squad rotation system, which clearly Ipswich have been trying in certain ways to nail down an 11. Barry never looked like he was going to be in that. Still don't know what position he plays. We've seen him play as a number 10. We've seen him play wide on the left. We've seen him play wide on the right. And you're right, they didn't know what was to come. Even later that day, you were kind of scratching your head a little bit. They signed Louie Barry in the morning and signed Sonny Aluko in the evening. And 2 players at such opposite ends of their careers. At that point, they were still after Michael Jacobs. Obviously, Michael Jacobs then turned into Kyle Edwards over a weekend. And then there was still Celina to come as well. So we were talking about like 8 players going into 3 for that attacking 3 behind Paul Cook striker, and Barry never figured. Really.
He's almost a bit of an insurance option early on. He was available, get him in. We don't quite know who else we may or may not get after him, and in the end, they didn't need that insurance option. He probably hasn't cost the earth, as he picked up a bit of his wages over that period. So just one of those, isn't it? He's I'm sure he'll have learned a lot from his time here.
And good luck to Louie going back to Villa, and we'll follow his career with interest.